What is going on, my crazy 76er fanatics? Guys, thank you so much for stopping back in for another daily pod with your daily 76er discourse and discussion. For all of you guys, whether you like, you subscribe, you comment, you drop in for an episode or two, guys, thank you for helping us climb the subscription ladder. Each view, each comment, each subscription, it matters. Thank you guys for helping this channel grow. And guys, we got to talk about what's the most pressing news all over Sixer internet. What if Joel Embiid is healthy? Guys, if you check Sixers Instagram, the official Sixers team's Instagram, they have video footage, they have photographs of Joel Embiid back in the gym with the young guys, the BJ Edgecombs, the Tyrese Maxeys, the Trenton Woffers, the Justin Edwards. And most importantly, throughout these videos, throughout these photographs, throughout these documented practices and rehearsals, this team is getting ready because the season, guys, NBA play is only 2 weeks away. Joel Embiid is seen to be practicing without a knee brace. Joel Embiid is going through mid-range shimmy shakes, post moves, and some practice drills without a knee brace, which means, guys, that if Joel Embiid is healthy, and I'm talking about a slither of healthy, we got to talk about what this team can be, who this team will be this season with the return of an MVP. Don't forget, guys, forget last season, but remember the 3 seasons prior to that. Joel Embiid was an MVP for the last 3 seasons. Joel Embiid averaged 30 for the last 3 seasons, of course, excluding the previous one. But even if you want to look at that bad year, which was last year, guys, where he only played 19 games, he was still walking around getting you 24 points per game. He was still walking around, hobbling around, giving you 24 points per game. So if Joel Embiid managed to become healthy, because he looks slimmer, he looks trimmer, and most importantly, guys, he's on the court early before the season's even started, which means he's getting into basketball shape before the season's even started. Typically, Joel gets into shape as the season progresses, as the season processes, and by week 2 of regular season, you're getting Joel Embiid treading towards the MVP caliber player we know he is. Guys, he's already in the gym right now with the young guys, building chemistry, building camaraderie, and getting acclimated with the system and this new form of what Joel can be. If he's healthy, guys, we don't have to talk about this team's going to be offensively. Defensively, this team will take a huge bump up because the biggest step down Joel Embiid saw last season wasn't his offensive efficiency, wasn't his points per game, it was his interior defensive protection. The Sixers saw a huge drop and a huge dip in their interior protection and their rebounding, which is why every fan and every GM is crying and clamoring for size. We need size. What you really don't need is size. You need dominance interiorly. You need dominance from your center defensively. And if Joel Embiid is able to be more healthy, then he's able to protect the rim at a better efficient clip than it was last season, guys. Because what Joel Embiid was doing last season wasn't great defensively, and it put a huge strain on your power forward, on your small forward to pick up the slack. And the small forward and the power forward, which is Paul George right now, he went out there to say, I'm not really feeling like rebounding. He's bored of it. It's not exciting him anymore. Defense, I'm not really feeling that anymore at this point in his career. And Kelly Oubre can only do as much as Kelly Oubre can do. Defensively, Kelly Oubre is a high-impact defender, but he doesn't have the size necessarily to go against other centers. He has the speed and the lateral quickness to guard 1 through 4, but that's 1 through small 4, not 1 through huge 4. Those double big lineups are displayed. Putting Kelly Oubre in the post, guys, he may be toast, guys. So getting Joel Embiid back healthy could mean that defensively, this team takes a huge jump up and a huge improvement, which is exactly what this team needs. And if they improve defensively, guys, where does this team rank in the East? That's the question. Because the Eastern Conference, the Eastern Conference, the weaker conference is wide open for the taking. You got to think about it. The Celtics, who were the dominant team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were a dominant team and the number one team in the East last season, the Celtics, who were number two. How good are these squads going to be this season? The Celtics, who are just completely reconstructed and rebuilding, because you don't have Tatum. You don't have Drew Holiday. You don't have Tingus Pingus and Kristaps Porzingis. You don't even have a true center right now. If Joel Embiid is able to be not only dominant offensively, which he's able to do with one eye, one leg, one arm, Bell's palsy, a bad knee, Joel Embiid can still put buckets up. But he's able to now protect the rim and be the defensive stopper, the defensive anchor that you know Joel Embiid to be and that he can be. Where does this team rank in that wide open East? Well, let's just rank them, guys. Let's just rank them. I think if we're just doing a blind ranking based off of the rosters and based off of the expected and projected box scores, not what's actually going to happen, the Magic ain't tragic. The Magic ain't bad, y'all. The Magic could be a guaranteed, bona fide top three team in the East. The biggest hole the Magic had last season was their three-point shooting, was their floor spacing, and was their offensive efficiency. Not saying Desmond Bane cleans up the entire hole this team has, but he does fill that hole a lot. Okay, he does play that puzzle piece that they were missing extremely, because Kentavious Caldwell-Pope could not hit a jump shot and was not a consistent three-point shooter. Desmond Bane is exactly that. He's a high-volume three-point shooter and a knockdown one at that. If Franz Wagner can get better over the summer, if Paolo can get better over the summer, and these guys can improve because they're still young in their career, they're still unfinished products. If these guys are improving and getting better from three, I think it's guaranteed the Magic are a top three team in the East. I think Cade helps his team improve. I think the Pistons, who were a top tier team in the playoffs last season, they get more chemistry, they get more comfortable, they get more acclimated, and then this team does rank again in the top three. Cleveland, there's no reason Cleveland shouldn't be a top three team in the East as well, because they have all their pieces returning, and they also have a few post-trade deadline pieces starting the season with them in DeAndre Hunter. Ty Jerome's staying home. Lonzo Ball's over there now. So I think Cleveland only gets better, guys. I think Cleveland will be the number one seed once again. And who knows if that's going to bleed or go into potentially their postseason success. But we're going to talk about that right now. I think the Sixers take that fourth seed. I think, and I left the Knicks off there. I know the Knicks are still what the Knicks are, but don't you think the Knicks are tired? Don't you think the Knicks are a little bit tired? They added a lot of depth, but in addition, they had a new head coach in Mike Brown. And I'm not sure if Mike Brown is better than Tom Thibodeau. So I'm going to put a system that was already in place with Nick Nurse. I'm going to put a system that was already in place with a Tyrese Maxey-led team. And I'm going to trust that this squad right here can take that fourth position in the East. I don't know. Let me know where you guys think this team ranks. But I think they're the fourth best team in the East, because last season it was Cavs, Boston, Knicks, Pacers, and then Bucks. Let's just be honest, guys. The Bucks should take a drop. The Pacers should take a drop. Boston should take a drop. That's three teams out of the top five who were not expecting to be there. Just bumping a few teams up. Pistons, Magic, Cavs. Put my Sixers in there. Maybe put Atlanta in there. But put my Sixers in there for sure. For sure, guys. And maybe the Knicks still got it. Maybe it was the players, not the coaches. Maybe it was the players, not the coaches. Who knows? But we got to talk about those. Those are the biggest matchups this season. The Eastern Conference matchups this Sixer squad will be facing off with, those are the biggest matchups this season. And it's not the typical rivalry between the Celtics and the Sixers. That's a historic rivalry. That's something all fans of each team and each franchise probably look forward to. I don't think we got to circle those games on our calendar this season. Not for any reason. I think it's going to be those Knicks matchups. I think it's going to be those Cleveland Cavaliers matchups. I think it's going to be those Detroit Pistons matchups with the return of Tobias Harris. I think those Orlando Magic matchups are going to be huge matchups for this team. And I think there's one more matchup that I think is something we're going to have to talk about. Those Miami Heat matchups. Eric Spoelstra is still Eric Spoelstra. He still has a system in place, a culture in place that gets this team to the postseason every season. I don't care if they lose a player. I don't care if they pick up a player. I don't care if half the squad is injured. Eric Spoelstra gets this team to the playoffs, guys. So in the biggest matchups this season, outside of the Jokers, outside of the circle calendar games with the Eastern Conference opponents, because you want to see what happens with Luka. You want to see what happens with Joker. You want to see what happens when Jimmy returns to Philly. We always love those games. But on a serious note, on a matter that which team is going to be dominant in the Eastern playoffs, it only matters with these Eastern Conference teams, guys. The biggest matchups got to be the Cavs, got to be the Knicks, got to be the Magic, got to be the Pistons. Got to be those squads right there, guys. Got to be those squads right there. And I'm going to throw the Heat in for the Fab Five, the Final Five. I think Miami. Atlanta, you can talk about them. The Celtics, you can talk about them. But I think the Heat, Eric Spoelstra, could be a sneaky team in this East. A sneaky team in this East to potentially knock this Sixer team down, guys. But did you leave a comment? Have you been commenting, guys? Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Leave a comment or two. You leave more than one, more than two. We read more than a few, guys. We read all of your comments, guys, because you guys matter. This is a channel brought to you by the people, for the people, because we thank all the people that stop in, drop in, and watch us. So, thank you guys for your comments, guys. But more importantly, I just want to talk about... Sorry, guys. My phone just lagged on me. Let me get him up right here. Bang! I want to thank you, this guy right here, Darren. I want to get your name right. Darren. Because I remember you said something about Bol. Why is no one talking about this team signing Bol? We do need size. We could use some shooting. The Sixer team could definitely use a 7'2" shooting guard. But the problem is you need defense when you talk about size. You need physicality when you talk about size. And you need effort when you talk about size. And with Dominic Barlow and Jabari Walker, they have those size guys. With Jared McCain and Quentin Grimes, they have the shooting. Adding Bol to this team, not sure where his effort would be, where his energy would be, and where his priority would be on the offense or defensive end. You're not necessarily sure what you get with Bol. Giving Eric Gordon a roster spot, giving Kyle Lowry a roster spot, we can't risk it on the biscuit with giving Bol a roster spot. That could be 3 spots that just won't be used. And I think in this NBA, looking at the Knicks squad and the way they're signing players, with the players they're picking up, I think the Knicks have at least 13 or 14 guys who can all see time, who can all potentially play. The Sixers, for me, don't have that with Kyle Lowry, with Eric Gordon, with Andre Drummond. These are guys that could play, but you know they can't necessarily offer too much high volume in efficiency and in positive points and in positive plus minus. So adding a guy like Bol is just too much risking on the biscuit, guys. You want someone who's a guaranteed bona fide potential high-impact player. Experienced, a winner, proven, or at least a trade piece that you can flip for high volume later. I don't think Bol's the one. I remember that one. I just wanted to highlight that one specifically. My guy Sean C is consistent with the comments. So Sean C, yeah, the Sixers need size. Yeah, the Sixers need shooting. And please keep Maxey. Hopefully Maxey doesn't get traded. Hopefully Maxey goes nowhere. Because if Maxey wants to stay in Philly, Maxey is Philly. He's the face of the franchise, guys. The face of the franchise. I see So Gravy Productions says it did not light a fire under Joel. If you haven't seen those photos, if you haven't seen those videos, go to the Sixer Instagram, guys, and see how slim and trimmed Joel looks. He looks ready to get the season started today, tomorrow. I think Joel is ready and hot to go. I'm just saying Joel is ready to let this team or lead this team to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time. It looks that way. I got to believe that way. I'm sorry, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you leave more than a comment or two, guys, we read more than a few. Stop back again tomorrow.